survive the surface of Malachor. Good, my apprentice. This is a true achievement. You have proven yourself worthy of the name Darth Apron. What's this? Is that a flare of anger I sense? Have you learned nothing, apprentice? The test of strength. Nothing ever earned is kept without it. But earn your title you have. I sense the potent energies of the Atreus Academy upon you. You now know. You have learned what I learned when I once visited that ancient place, what Darth Terra learned, and Darth Revan. You now know. All you have tasted of the dark side so far is nothing. There is so much more, a never-ending sea of power to call upon. The dark tempest you no doubt endured within the walls of the Academy has strengthened you. And it is time to begin the next phase of your training, truly and in earnest. And for that, you must be prepared. You have learned and grown within the disciplines of Shicho and Makashi. It is time now to learn Soresu, Form 3. You will train in this form above all others. Those who master Soresu are known for their impenetrable defense, and many of the other forms are as nothing to one who truly dedicates themselves to the mastery of Form 3. Accessing file. Form 3. Soresu. Processing. Also known as the Way of the Minok, Soresu was developed as blasters became more and more widespread in the galaxy. It is considered a refinement of Shicho's blaster defense, but over time, it transcended Shicho to become something more. Soresu is purely a defensive style. Those who practice it dedicate themselves to patiently waiting out their opponent. Your opening stance will have your dominant foot back, with the hilt held with both hands to the dominant side, ready to use, blade straight in the air. There are those who use an opening stance, where the blade is placed high above the head in one hand, free arm extended towards the opponent. I have taken the arm of many such a foe. You must master Soresu as I did, but you will never present such an opening to your opponent. You will instead follow the accelerations contained within and form a tight, efficient cocoon of movement around your body. Soresu is characterized by its speed and efficiency. Your blade should constantly be on the move to counter your foes, but you should always seek the most efficient means to move from point A to point B. Form 3 rests upon quick and precise movements, much like Makashi. A master of Soresu is able to block almost any blow, and able to dodge those they cannot. In order to properly do this, you must open yourself to the Force and let it guide your motions. This is something you should no longer have trouble with. Against foes wielding blasters, you will find your blade in constant motion, a whirling shield of protection, which covers all areas around you. The Jedi call this state the Circle of Shelter. They believe Soresu is a perfect Jedi art, not only passive in its orientation on defense, but because of how it can open one to the Force, a good meditation tool. They are wrong about its intrinsic passive nature, but they are right about one thing. The Circle of Shelter is a precognitive state, and to fall into it for prolonged periods can open the mind to visions of the future. This can be an enormous advantage both in combat and in laying your plans. Again, you must master Soresu, while you may highlight with whatever accelerations from the other forms you prefer. Soresu must be your base. A master wielder who has fallen into the circle of shelter can hold off 20 or more blaster-wielding foes without effort, or block up to 30 strikes a second from multiple opponents. Against lightsaber-wielding opponents, Soresu is exclusively dedicated to defense. This is to say, there are no strikes or lunges that come from within Form 3. Instead, those fighting from within the way of the Minok allow their opponents to come to them, deflecting their blows, and waiting for their enemy to make a mistake. A Soresu master is a master of endurance, and they can fight for extended periods of time, even for one who enhances that endurance with the Force. When their enemy makes a mistake, they counter with quick parries. All of this hinges upon the user developing their speed and their endurance. You must learn to be quick and always find the most efficient path of movement. You must also be smart. Because of its defensive nature, Soresu relies upon a greater command of strategic setting. The most effective Soresu masters use their environment to help tip the fight in their favor. And because they are often waiting for their enemy's strikes from within their defensive cocoon, Form 3 users have more time to alter their plans and respond to new developments in any duel. The precognitive quality of Soresu is again an advantage in this regard, allowing for wielders to lay strategies far in advance of their current battle. Soresu wielders are usually good generals or soldiers, and masters of this form are often considered unbeatable in combat. In truth, no one is truly unbeatable, and never forget this fact, apprentice. But with that being said, Form 3 is the next best thing. Absolutely dedicate yourself to this form, and you will never be defeated in combat. Master this form, and highlight it with what works from all the others, and you will be able to overcome any foe. It requires patience, discipline, sharpness of mind, and dedication. But these are not qualities that you lack. Are they, apprentice? There have been many who have tried to dedicate themselves to the way of the Minok, but only a few have ever truly mastered the form to the degree they could be considered true masters. There was Mitra Surik, Revan's chief lieutenant during the Mandalorian Wars. Darth Zana, first heir in the line of the Rule of Two. Luminara Unduli, a wise Jedi Master during the Clone Wars. But perhaps the most famous master of Soresu was Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, master to Anakin Skywalker, and perhaps one of the greatest swordsmen to ever live. Heed the lessons of these masters. Heed my own example. Do not neglect Soresu. You have trained hard in the first two forms, but make Form 3 your life. Take what you will from the others. Use their accelerations as tools meant to fit the specific moment. But Soresu must be your foundation. Do this, and never know defeat. As always, the lesson plans for Soresu's accelerations can be downloaded directly from this Holocron's databanks into your ship's memory core. You have survived Malachor, and it is now time for you to travel to Drummond Kaas. You have been to Ziost, and walked the Valley of the Dark Lords on Korriban. You have drank the energies of the Treyas Academy, And now you must seek the Dark Temple, built by Lord Vitiate when he ruled as Sith Emperor. The journey will be long. Use the time of travel to master Soresu. This Holocron will reactivate when you have mastered the way of the Minok and tasted the dark side that rages still within the skies of Dromund Kaas. Go now, Darth Apron, my apprentice, and may the Force break your chains.